Hello, welcome, happy Sunday. So we just watched season 11 premiere of the OG 90 Day Fiance. This is a premiere after show. So we're going to get into the premiere. I want to know what you guys thought. I want to get your opinions. So it was a lot, right? I want to get into it because a lot of people on Twitter or X were saying that they felt like they were doing too much. Like they were saying that there was a lot of drama. Hey Gina, hey Heidi, hi Shelly, hi Butler Pace. So yeah, a lot of people were saying that there was a lot going on, and Shake Woman Shake. Hey Pineapple, and that there was too much drama, and a lot of people felt like we didn't have time to get to know them. And they were jumping us right into the drama. Let me text Kara because Kara's gonna be joining us, and we're gonna get some reactions. I love doing live reactions and get the first reactions because I kind of compare them to when we first watched the show for the premiere to towards the end, because we're gonna have 20 something episodes, so the idea that they included so much in this episode. How did you guys feel? Pineapple says, I didn't watch much, just watched a few minutes. Oh, you haven't seen it yet? It was a lot. Like, you know how I like to tweet, I like to get drinks, I like to text. I didn't have time to do all that. I felt like there was a lot going on with this episode. So, oh, you missed the first half? Oh my gosh. I can't miss it because yeah, a season now is like 20 episodes. Um it's no longer 12 episodes. Oh, Kara's here. Yeah, we're gonna have like 20 something episodes plus a tell all, and the tell alls are usually insane. It was all over the place. Yeah, Gina, I felt that way too. I felt like we got a lot of information. Well,
Hey,
how are you?
gosh, I miss you. I feel like it's been a year.
I feel like we haven't done this in a while, and what best to have you back on a premiere.
I know.
I feel the anticipation and excitement is all here. I have to run because I haven't seen it yet. Oh yeah, Heidi, we don't want to ruin it for you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming in. Heidi is one of the counselors on The Last Resort this season. So let us know once you watch it what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But so how did you feel? So this was season 11, the premiere. We've been watching the show for 11 years. Compared to the earlier seasons, what did you think of this premiere?
So far, I love it. I love everything about it.
So did you feel, because there was a lot of people online that felt like there was too much information, too much for the first episode? Like we didn't know their names.
There was too much Sarper and Shekinah. Like, we can get rid of them. Done deal.
Well, do you feel like there was a lot of drama? Like we were learning too much of their stories early on? Like I didn't know their names, but I know that Mark's daughter Jordan thinks that Mina is a gold digger. Like we got a lot really early on, which I don't mind.
What I love about that is so much early on means this is going to be such a juicy season.
Well, the fact that Mark is about to have a second baby with Amina, it's kind of crazy, right? So he's a private jet pilot, which based on the photos of the people that he's been flying, he's getting paid a lot of money. Yeah. We saw Kamala Harris, Bill Clinton, what was the one president? He just recently passed away. I can't remember his name. He literally just recently passed away.
McCain? No.
McCain. No, not McCain, but he you know who I'm talking about.
Carter.
So Jimmy Carter. That is a very, so the fact that he can fly people that have Secret Service and stuff, he's a very trusted pilot. So this man is loaded. And the fact that he went to London and he was approached by this woman, right? Like this reminded me of the early 90 Day Fiance where the Americans were being, taken to the cleaners, right? And he doesn't see it, but maybe he does because, okay, so he revealed something on this episode that was really interesting. Hey, Diva Speaks. Hey, Ray Ray. He said that this was not his first young woman that he dated. So because again, there's a lot of information dropped tonight. I thought it was Paris. Oh yeah. He was flying he met her in Paris. You're right. What did I say? London? He met her in Paris. And he said that he was going through his first divorce and he was dating this younger girl, and he brought up a prenup, and she flipped out, and then the relationship ended. And it kind of looks like this is going to be a repeat, because we saw the preview where he brings up to Mina about the prenup, and she flips out, and she's like, I don't want your money. And it's like, yes, you do.
Yeah,
Yes, you do. Like, let's be real, because I like to, my one co-host, she used to say, it's not a robbery if no one's getting robbed. So if he knows that these younger women are with him because of his money, he's aware. His daughter Jordan is more worried about it, because Jordan has been here 27 years with her dad. She's expecting an inheritance, and if he keeps popping out random kids with this woman, there's not going to be anything left, right? There's not going to be anything left. He's starting this new life over, and he has built an amazing life for himself, and she's going to come in and take, wait, Gina says he needs to get a paternity test and sign a prenup. So Gina thinks that there's a possibility this kid might not be his. Did that ever cross your mind?
I mean, I think it crossed everybody's mind.
Wait. So wait. I mean, he is 58, but we've seen, what was his name? Robert De Niro or was it Al Pacino? One of them has been having kids well into his late 70s.
Alec Baldwin.
Oh yeah.
It has like
Alec Baldwin too.
Kids. I mean, there's so many of them. There's
I
so many of them that are older having kids. However, they're all in the same country.
It's weird that she got pregnant by him because he said that he was visiting back and forth. Oh, David and Annie. You're right, but David and Annie did it through in vitro, because David had the snip. David had the vasectomy, because he was like, no, I ain't doing this kid thing again. And then he marries a 24-year-old wife, and he's like, oh, I am doing this kid again. So he's doing it again. But it's just weird that they met. She approached him first, and then she ends up pregnant so quickly. Like, I'm not saying that. No, I am. She's probably after his money, right? Yeah. She's definitely after his money, and I can see that. But I don't think he has a problem with that, based on the fact that he's dated young before.
Yeah, he basically just said he needs attention.
Well, yeah, there are some men out there who are willing to spend the money that they need to spend to get a girl half their age. They've accepted the fact that this is my thing. I want a girl half my age, and I know that comes with, taking care of her, giving her what she needs, keeping her happy, and spending lots of money. Some men live their life completely aware and not bothered by what they have to do in that situation.
I do feel,
but Jordan,
for Jordan though, I feel.
Well, yeah, she's now has it was a girl, right? That they had, she's a sister, and now she's about to have a sister or brother, and it's really hard, because y'all know I was a child of divorced parents, and my dad's been married many, many times, and there's lots of extra families, lots of siblings. So what's really interesting, I hated them. Yeah. Right? And I had to learn, because they were all like, we did see each other, and after as we got older, they would reach out, and for a while I wouldn't talk to them, and then I realized as I got older, I was like, they're not idiots. Right. My dad's an idiot. Yeah. Right. So now we're all really close. Like, all of my bonus siblings, we're all really close. We talk. We follow each other on probably Facebook. Like we have that relationship. But in the beginning, I couldn't stand them, and I feel like Jordan is probably going to be in that place where I was, because
I'm not in my 50s yet. We'll just say it's a little ways away, but I can't even imagine how my adult children would feel if I told them I was having a baby. Now, they would lose their mind.
Well, I think it's always going to be a hard situation when you have a family and you have kids, and then they're grown and they might have kids. Because it's like, you don't wait. I would sign a prenup before, with stipulation that if we have worked together on anything, I get half of that. So the prenup, I think, is going to be important, but isn't it too late? Because they have a kid together already. You can't really protect yourself once you have a kid, right?
I mean, I think you can protect yourself against her,
but the child, you have to take care of the child, period, in the discussion.
If the child is yours, and you can prove that.
I don't know. Everyone is saying that they're skeptical. I think that if she was a good gold digger, the rule number one is it has to be his, because paternity tests can even be done while the child is still in the womb. They're risky, but they can still be done.
They're in a different country.
But still, once they get over here, you don't think Jordan is gonna go over to her dad's house when they get here and swab that kid's mouth when she's not looking?
Oh,
like, come on, you know that she's gonna do it.
I
It's this is not gonna work if it's not his kid. The ruse would be over before it started.
I'm sure she is, but in other countries, they don't. I'm not saying. Okay, I gotta figure out how to word this so the internet doesn't come after me. I'm not saying that they want to come to America for a reason, right?
Yes.
Okay. So their first thought isn't their firsthand doctors and their firsthand testing. Like, the shit that happens in other countries just happens. And people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. That makes sense. But in America, we question everything. Everything.
Whoa, yeah. There are married couples who've gotten paternity tests.
Yep.
Right? Like, we are very skeptical of everything, even of our own family.
Yes.
Right? Like, if somebody comes to you and they're like, hey, this just happened to me. Hey, Lana. Or if my sister or brother asked me for $1,000, I would have follow-up questions. Right? And this is family. Like, we don't trust anybody as far as we can throw them. So yeah. I think that it would be intelligent of him to get a paternity test. But I think if she's a good gold digger, this is his kid. Because she's
not a good gold digger, because we already see that she panics when he starts talking about a prenup. If you didn't think he was going to ask for a prenup, you did it wrong.
Or do you think that's why she wants to have a second baby? Because if the first baby really, if he got there and she was already pregnant and it's not his, a second baby would solve that problem. Yeah. Right? Like,
lock
if
it down.
She did have a baby, because if they're already married, when he finds out that the first baby isn't his, is he going to divorce her? And even so, she's still going to get paid.
Yep.
Right? And the Diva Speaks said in Europe, if it's proved wages, if you can prove the wages, they'll garnish you. Because I think that's how it works in America too. They'll garnish you over here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that she wants to come over. Like you said, people want to come to America for one or two reasons. They want to work and make a better life for themselves, or they want somebody to give them a better life.
Yep.
And I think Mina saw this older pilot who she could stomach, right? She was like, I can work with this. You know, based on the fact that he owns a plane, he flies these people, he makes this much money. The life that I want, he can provide. She probably was like, I mean, I don't love it, but I can work with it, right? And I think that she was like, well, the best way to trap him is to make him hit my baby daddy. Absolutely. You know, and you know, a 58-year-old man doesn't want to be a baby daddy. Y'all are gonna get married.
Yep.
You know, like, men that age aren't baby daddies. You're gonna get married. And I think she was like, well, all this money will be half mine. Right. And I think Jordan, because she told Jordan that she was a snake and she didn't want her at the wedding. And I think Jordan is becoming the enemy because Jordan is the protector of the estate.
She sees bullshit.
Well, yeah. When you're not in love, you can really see the crap that people are pulling. Right. Absolutely. But when you think that you're in love, it's like blinding. Yep. It's like you don't see what people are doing. You don't see the ignorance. And then after you're no longer in love and you go back and you look back over the decisions that you made, you look at it and you're like, damn, I should have figured that out. But but again, I think Mark is totally fine knowing that she's because he said it. He was like, that's like a 2% worry. And I was like, no, you know, it's like a 45% worry. You know it. Yep. But you don't care. Right? Because older men, they like having a 22-year-old girl on their shoulder. It's just, this is just the world that we live in. So I think that, thank you for the badge, Lana. I think that in this situation, he doesn't mind that he's getting got, because he's getting what he wants out of it. And if he has to pay for it, he's okay with that. And I mean, somebody who's flying the ex-vice president of this country around is not hurting for money. Do you think he's going to cry over money?
But I'm also excited to see when Jordan's brother comes on, what he's got to say about it too.
Yeah, I love it when the families.
Let's bring the whole family in.
That's what I want to see, the family try to poke holes in the situation. Remember, I told you when my dad first married his third wife, she was a Filipino woman from the Philippines that he brought over here. And you should have saw. We were all trying to poke holes, right? We were like, what is this? And it turns out she was actually a really good woman. They're still married. And she takes care of him. My dad is disabled and he can't work, and she takes care of him. So it turns out we had it all wrong. But when, again, we were like, oh, we need to protect our estate, what we're going to get. Yeah. you know, so we were being selfish too. So we tried to run her away. Then it turns out she was a good person. But
yeah, but you know, I mean, like David and Annie, that's 1 in a billion. You know, your dad,
well,
1 in a billion.
yes. Oh, I want to
So
talk about the baptism. So there's a baptism for the baby that Jordan said was catered. It had 2 or 3 open bars. And when her and her family flew out to meet, you know, Mina and her family, she showed up 4 hours late and didn't even want to get to know them. So
yeah,
what are your thoughts on that? So first of all, how much should a baptism cost? Because I've been to some christenings and some baptisms. There was okay, so I went to a church, we did the christening, and then we went back usually to what do you call a room that you rent? Kind of like a hall,
yeah,
and there was food. There
yeah.
was
But
obviously
then you,
no alcohol because it was a baptism, so
right,
there was no alcohol. But
it's
like, how much do you think is a decent amount for a baptism?
whatever the cost of the room, the venue, whatever the cost of that is, maybe $100, $150, and then your food, whether you provide it or you have it catered, that should be good.
Gina says this woman is clearly a good gold digger. She had a cocktail hour. Well, that right. So I never heard of a open bar at a baptism or a christening because, well, the churches that I went to, you couldn't drink. But I know that there's plenty of churches where wine is totally fine, alcohol is totally fine. So I get that. But again, Jordan is like, she's just after the money because that's so unnecessary for a
Yeah,
baby's baptism. She just wanted to have a big party, a lavish party that she shows up late to because she's the guest of honor. And you know, I can see it. I can see that. And it's the party after. Oh, the party after. Okay, so yeah, at the churches where it happens, and then there's like an after party, and I've been to those. They weren't like amazing. I've even been to ones where we just went to the person's house and they cooked.
yeah,
Right? I'm from the South.
right,
Right? People don't spend a whole bunch of money on stuff. I grew up
yeah.
in Louisiana, so we would go to the church. We'd have the program. We would just go back to their house and they cooked a whole bunch of food.
I've been to a ton of baptisms where we go to the church, we leave, we go home.
Oh, so no food.
No, that's a
So basically, it's a free event. You just invite your family and your friends, and it's an event that you share, you know, with the
yep.
people that you love. Right.
Yeah.
So having somebody spend probably 10 grand on that event,
Sure.
well, maybe she really is a good gold digger. You know, I have to really applaud the gold diggers that do it the right way, and they end up because after a while, you know, Anna Nicole Smith never ended up with that money in the end. You know,
Well, no, because he died first.
he died first, and then that she was working on the estate, winning it from his son. She died before, but then even after her death, posthumously, they awarded in the son's favor. She never was going to get the money, even if she was still alive. So she didn't do it right. And there are women who do it correctly, and they end up with the big house and the cars and the trust and the oil money.
So,
and I respect those women. It's
not, I mean, obviously, I'm not a gold digger because I've been married for too long to be a gold digger. I wasn't thinking that through. However, if that was the case, I would make sure. I mean, if I was going to be a good gold digger, I would make sure that the old man that I'm going after doesn't have any freaking kids.
Well, those are your worst enemy.
Yeah.
When you're trying to gold dig because those kids know what you're doing. Because
That's
those
right.
kids also have a stake in what you want.
Yep.
Right? You need to find an older, successful man who never had kids. Or unfortunately, they passed away. You know, you have to look for a specific type of man because those kids are going to see right through you.
Yep.
And I think that, how old did she say she was? She was 35. And his daughter, Jordan, is 27. So,
Yep.
not even a 10-year gap. Jordan is looking and she's like, what do you want with my dad other than his money? And it's not a mean process. She knows that this isn't the first young girl that tried to come take away her dad's money. And, you know, her dad is the type of guy who will hand it over. If she doesn't put up a fight, he won't put up a fight. But Gina says, my cousin had fireworks at her wedding, and it was at an olive oil press factory. A lot of events in Europe will take place at a winery. Also, they like to drink over there. So I should, y'all invite me. I like to drink. Right? If y'all are going to have an open bar, if there's an open bar, I don't care what y'all got going on. Invite me. I'll go. If there's no open bar, you're going to have to pull my leg. All right. So I want to talk about this throuple. So Matt and Amani. So this is a different situation. I know you've watched Seeking Sister Wife. It's very similar to that. It seems like Amani is the worker and Matt's like the house husband.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar to one of the couples I did see on Seeking Sister Wife, but not the Merrifields. The Merrifields, he worked.
But the Merrifields, I can't with them. I cannot with that man.
Well, he was trying to divorce. Didn't he divorce his wife?
Yeah.
To marry that chick that they barely even knew, and then she never even showed up. Do you remember that?
Yep.
That was a whole thing.
On to the next.
So that's a good question. Why are the men never hot? So I was on X and I put the tweet out. I was like, can somebody help me understand why it's always these dull, plain, bland men that end up with these super hot multiple wives? And somebody explained it. They said that the wives are in control. They wear the pants and they're looking for a man that they can walk all over, like a man that will go with the flow. And because they said that the stronger the man, the less likely they will be able to do it. I don't know if that's true or not.
Very much makes sense. But also, when you're in any other country and you're trying to come to America, any man that looks like he makes above minimum wage, you think is living the American dream. He's going to get me there. It's going to be fine. I just have to not look at him. Look at Jasmine and Gina. That's a perfect example.
Well, rich to people in other countries, it looks different than, like in America, we can pretty much tell. I mean, there are some rare instances. Wasn't the guy who created Apple one of those rare, where he drove like a 20-year-old car and he wore the same jeans that he bought 10 years ago? Like, there are rare occurrences, but in America, we're very flashy people. So yeah, we can tell the people that own a boat versus the people who lease a car.
We can. But if you're in another country and all you see is America on TV, literally all these movies make America look so great. Like, I want to go to America watching America on TV, but I already live in this hellhole. So, like,
it is not what people think it is. They think they just come here and the government starts depositing money into your account. It don't happen like that. Yeah, like, it don't.
On TV, and you're just like, okay, the first man that blinks my way that can get me to the super rich country so I can live high on the hog, I am good. That's how these beautiful women are thinking. As long as I can get to Hollywood or Beverly Hills, and then they end up in some podunk town in Oklahoma and they're like, what the hell is this?
That's kind of Natalie's life story, right? Yeah. She came over from the Ukraine thinking that she was going to be a Hollywood actress, and she's sucking the life out of whatever 90 Day Fiance spinoff she can get on. Literally. Right? She's literally sucking the life out of these shows. If it's like any other show, she's going to.
Not with Mike, and Mike lived in Sequim, Washington. That is not a flashy town. And she got there and she was like, holy shit, this is like farmland in the middle of nowhere. That is not what she saw on TV.
Mm-hmm. Wait, there's two good questions here. So Gina said, I feel bad for the kids involved as they aren't thinking about the kids. That's how I felt about the Merrifields too. So Matt and Amani have 3 kids, and then the girlfriend has 2 kids, which is gonna be, I always wondered how the kids would react, because I was watching Seeking Sister Wife and a couple of those couples had younger kids, and I always wondered, I was like, is this gonna be like a weird thing for the kids that is gonna send them to therapy? And a lot of the kids seem to understand what was going on, but like 10 years from now, I feel like they're gonna be in therapy because kids are.
When you're little, what mom and dad tell you is everything. That's gold. But then you get older and you meet friends, and your friends don't live like that, and they have
and
normal
you start
life.
Questioning. Exactly. You're right. Whatever your parents do are clearly the right thing because they're your parents. But when you get older and you go to school and you see your friend has a mom and a dad, no girlfriend, and you start to be like, well, everyone doesn't have 2 moms and 1 dad. Also, Coco Puff says, do we know if Matt and his wife are on OnlyFans? So we did a check. I couldn't find anything, but I know that his wife Amani has a really good job. She has a really good career. So I don't think that that's going to be something we'll see from her. She's beautiful. Yeah. But I don't think that that's going to be an option or a need for her, she's the one that works and makes all the money. I don't know if y'all caught it, but did you see the outside aerial view of their home? It's gorgeous, beautiful. It looks like it should be on the Real Housewives of something. So I don't think that, of something. I don't know. Housewives of San Diego. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think probably 2 years from now, Tiger Lily will be on OnlyFans because I think the money that she told us she had, she never had. So in a couple of years, that might happen. But I don't think that Amani is going to be on OnlyFans. She's the one that makes all the money. She's definitely how did you feel about Matt being a house husband? Because remember on Seek and Sister Wife, there was the one family, he had 3 wives and he was a house husband. He didn't work. The women went out to work. How did you feel about that? Were you okay with that?
The gigantic bed that took up the whole room?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know. I feel like it's empowering for women to be in charge of, because someone on X said they liked it because Amani can walk away at any moment. If she decides she doesn't want to be with him, she decides she doesn't want to.
They can all walk away at any moment. You're in America now. Take the bastard for everything he's worth and get out.
He's not worth anything. That's the thing. He doesn't have anything.
I know, but that's why you don't marry a house husband.
I mean, I'm from the South, and I was raised old school, and where I was raised, my mom would never, right? She would never marry a man that wasn't going to go to work. But I know that we're in 2025 and we don't have to adhere to whatever we were taught when we were growing up. It's just, I like the idea for her that she's in charge and she can make the decisions. I think women should be empowered in relationships. I think bad relationships start when a woman can't be empowered. She has to listen to whatever he says.
But
I think that's
there's a difference between women being empowered and women being controlled. There's a huge difference. And people often mistake the two for the other. So,
this is true.
That's a very fine line.
This is true. You're right. I mean, a lot of people on X didn't like it. They were like, what is this guy doing? He's bland. He's lazy. Why won't he go to work? And I was like, well, we can't really ask those questions without knowing what's going on. We don't know. We can't say that he doesn't work. He never said that he didn't. They only focused on her work and how she made a lot of money. She made it clear. And then she made a comment about the boat. She was like, I rented us a boat. Yeah. So, because I think that they're focusing on she's making the money and he's not. That's the narrative that we're being fed. But I don't know how people feel about it. And now that she's going to divorce him and then he'll be married to someone else, she could technically walk away with everything. Yeah. Right? I mean, they do have kids, but she's the breadwinner. He would have to pay her. Right? Isn't that how that work? Because she wouldn't have to pay him spousal. Well, wait, how does the spousal support work?
The breadwinner's the one that has to pay.
Oh, so if she walked away from him, she would have to pay him spousal support. So he's winning either way. Yeah. She's more of the main character than him. Yeah, Jal, I feel like that. Yeah, it's more about her and what she wants. And another comment she made real quick, she said she's not bisexual, but she has a girlfriend that she loves. How does that work? Yeah. I was confused. I was very confused by it. And she kept saying, oh, she has a banging body and she's beautiful and I love. So it sounded more sexual for her. Because when we watch Sister Wives, nothing is sexual for the wives. They're friends. She kept saying how she liked her body and how she loved and connected with her. And she never thought she would want to be with a woman. It's not the same type of connection that we see when there's multiple wives that share one husband. It kind of seems like she wanted a girlfriend and then the husband was just okay with it.
It's a throuple. We're not seeking a sister wife. Sister wives, there's one woman with the same man and then another woman with the same man, but the women are never together. A throuple, they're all together. So, very different.
So that means that everybody's doing stuff together.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's,
how do we feel about that?
It's different. I mean, it's going to be weird, especially if they divorce to bring her over.
That is interesting because she kept saying that she wasn't bisexual, but then now she has a girlfriend and she enjoys it. So you kind of are, right? Like, you kind of are. You can't be both, right? That's like the men who do porn for gay porn, but they're not gay. You can't be both. Right. You have to pick one. Right. You got to pick one. You can't do one thing and say another. Wait,
Yeah.
a throuple isn't a sister wife. Yeah, so they're all intimate. So I learned something new. This is all new to me, right? If he's sitting at home playing video games and she's coming home and doing all the work, it's the person who makes the most. Ah, so he's kind of safe either way.
Yeah.
Because if she walks away, he's gonna get taken care of either way. He kind of has a really good setup.
Yeah.
The setup is kind of actually ideal because even if he never wants to work, he never has to, because if she kicks his ass out, she's got to take care of him, which I don't think they would. Because did you hear that she said that they knew each other for 3 months before they got married, and they moved in after a week.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they make the best decision.
I mean, you already know my situation. I can't really talk too much shit on that.
Well, yeah, didn't you wait? How long did you know your husband though?
We moved in 3 days after we met. He proposed to me 3 weeks later, and we got married 3 months later. We've been married 30 years.
Oh my gosh, Cara. You didn't know him.
I didn't. I didn't know him at all, but we've been married for 30 years. Yeah. We have a grandchild. So
yeah, you're right. So it's hard to pass judgment, because you know what? I would have put money that situation would have went differently, and look how it turned out.
Everybody said we'd never make it. We see people from back in the day in the grocery store, and they're like just completely dumbfounded.
That's funny. So people, when y'all first got married and they see y'all still together,
they're like, I give it 6 months, I give it 6 weeks, I give it. Here we are.
I mean, that's a lot of stories though. What's funny in America, they always want to tell us how high the divorce rate is. They never want to tell us how many people made it. They never want to encourage you to stick with your relationship and make it, right?
I could have ended up on Dateline, but I guarantee they would have been looking for him.
You could have. You know what? That's funny.
They would have been looking for him though, not me.
Jessica's here. Jessica, we're about to talk about you. You might not want to be here. So
yes.
Jessica,
no, I already told her we were getting ready to podcast.
Jessica and Juan are on, and Juan is coming. I think she said they waited over 1,300 days. Hey, Jessica.
1,381 days, which is 3.25 years.
Oh my gosh. That's real love, right? That's real love. So Juan is leaving Cali, Colombia, which is a paradise, right? It's a beautiful beach paradise. And he's moving to Wyoming, where her sons, Jessica's sons, were literally throwing cow manure at each other, which gives you an idea. Because
good childhood, man. That's
I used to go to Mississippi in Clarksdale, where my grandmother lived, in every summer, 6 weeks every summer, and we would help milk cows and like take care of farms for like extra money. So when her sons were throwing cow manure, I was like, oh my God, that reminds me when I was younger. I didn't actually throw cow manure at people. I didn't want to get beat up, but
my whole
backyard
is horse shit. Let's go play.
Really? How many horses do you have?
Well, one now. We had 2, but we just recently lost our old man.
Oh, no.
They're my daughters, yeah.
So one is gonna have to adapt to Wyoming. How far is Wyoming from you, by the way?
A long ways. I'm in Oregon.
It's far? You're over
all the way up
by Washington. You're over by Washington. So I've never been to Wyoming a day in my life, but she said that it was negative 60 degrees in her town, which I can't fathom. I think in Ohio one time it was -8 for like a few hours, and I just didn't leave the house for like days. I just didn't go outside.
3,000 miles. I'm gonna cruise over there and see her Friday.
3,000 miles. Okay, guys, this shows you how much geography I know.
She's
because in my mind,
to you than she is to me.
See, this is what I'm talking about. See, in my mind, I thought she was closer to you than me. So where's Wyoming? Hold on. I'm gonna look it up on the map.
What do you mean, where's Wyoming?
I don't know, Cara. I literally don't know where Wyoming is. I'm gonna look it up on the map. I know it's a state, but I just don't know where it is. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up, because now I need to know this, because she might be closer to me.
She is closer to you.
Okay, Wyoming. And I need a map. We're about to learn some geography.
Yes.
Oh, she's right by Salt Lake City. Hold on. Okay, I got the map. It's loading. No,
31
I don't have.
hours.
From you?
From you.
Oh, from me. Oh, she's not close to me either. Okay. Interesting. So, okay. Anyway, one is going to try to adapt from living in Cali, Colombia to Wyoming, which I'll be 100% real with you. I would get off the airplane, feel the air, and get back on the airplane. No personal issue with Jessica or anything, but it's just I don't ever want to adapt to that type of cold. The fact that they brought him a coat upon landing.
It was -16 here the other day. I sent you my screenshots.
Oh yeah, you did. That's too cold for me. I have friends in Canada, and they tell me about the temperature in Canada, which I think it's just insane. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pull up this map real quick because I never got to do it. All right, so I see Idaho. She's by Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Utah. She kind of by Nevada.
She's like in the middle of us.
Yeah, she's not super far from you. Because look, Oregon's right here.
Trust me, I've been to Wyoming.
And you're right here. Yeah, she's not super. Wait, for real? Is it really that far? Because it doesn't even look that far on the.
Flying, it's not too bad. It's a long drive.
Oh, see, I don't drive places. I fly.
I didn't.
Well, lately with the airplane stuff, I'm scared to fly. But I'm kind of scared. But I usually fly. But so what's interesting is one is talking about. You remember Megan? Megan was the best friend of Jessica. Oh, Megan's here. What's up, Megan?
We all need.
She is. I think I'm closer to Oregon than Florida. Yeah, you are. You're closer to Oregon than Florida. So. I looked it up. I didn't know. I remember when somebody was from Iowa. I think what was that girl who was into cosplay?
Oh,
and she was with
the Chinese guy.
Yeah,
what's her name?
Yeah, she was. I had to look up where that was when she was on the show because I was like, where is that? Where is Iowa on the map? But I did all this in high school. You know, we learned it, but it's been a long time. So Megan is bringing up. Hey, Megan. So she's the A1 best friend that we all want. So she's going to be confronting.
Ella. Yes, Ella.
Ella. Thank you.
Johnny.
Ella and Johnny, which they're not together anymore, right? Yeah, they're not. He was here, but I still think they're not together anymore. Okay, so Megan is rehashing this one cheating with a girl on a cruise ship situation. And I don't know. I have a weird thought of this because I was like, they met on a cruise ship and they hooked up.
Yeah.
So would it be really out of character for him to hook up with another girl on a cruise ship? Because let's say, hypothetically, one was a playboy on the ship. And he regularly...
He said he was, but then he fell in love with Jessica and his whole life changed.
Can you just put in your Playboy card into the shredder and just not be a Playboy overnight?
I mean,
is that something that you do?
As a bartender, I don't care if you're a bartender on a cruise ship or on land. You have to flirt. That's where the money comes from.
Well, yeah. Just like when you go to Hooters, all of those really pretty girls pretend that you're really cute. You're not. But you're gonna tip them because you like the attention. Oh wait, Jessica says she needs to let it go. Also, we didn't hook up on the cruise ship. Oh, they didn't hook up on the cruise ship. They met on the cruise ship. See, Jessica's classy. She said we met and talked and hooked up 9 months later. Oh, Jessica's classy. She made him wait 9 months. Okay. See, I knew I liked her. You know, the girls that give it up after a couple of hours, it's hard to get the guy to take you seriously. You got to make him wait. Work for it, pay for some dates, fly you out to somewhere, meet his mama. You gotta put the work in, and then you're gonna get you a good husband out of that. If you give it up after the first day, then you know he's gonna feel some type of way. We met and talked. So yeah, 9 months. That's information that they should have put on the show. Because I just made the assumption that they met. She thought the bartender was cute, and then the bartender was in her room. Right?
The bartender was cute. She flirted. He flirted, but it turned more serious. It was more than just flirting.
Well, yeah, they started dating. But see, that's my thing. What if when this supposed hookup thing on the ship happened during those 9 months, they had never been intimate and they were just talking? Because, you know, the younger kids today, they don't call it dating. They call it talking.
If you're just talking, then do whatever. Jessica could have done whatever. Juan could do whatever. Once they locked it down, that's when Megan steps in. Plain and simple.
Would it be different if Megan was seeing other people during that 9 months and he was seeing other people because they weren't serious. Because I think, or not Megan, Jessica. Because I think what makes it hard for Megan is Jessica was being totally monogamous to him, and he was still on a cruise ship living his best life. And there was a girl that he
wasn't though. He wasn't. So remember, they met on the cruise ship, and then it was COVID, and so everything was shut down. So she couldn't go there. The cruises weren't happening. They had to just talk. So they got to know each other on a different level. And then she went on a cruise as soon as it opened back up, and they were like different level. He wasn't serving her drinks at that point.
Well, yeah. I mean, remember when we were talking about Kalani and Asuelo? She went over to Samoa as a virgin. I was just talking about this on the other podcast. And she met Asuelo, and they hooked up right away. And she went back home pregnant. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then she was stuck with him.
Yeah.
Because now you're pregnant, and now you got to bring him over here, and look how that turned out. That's why if she would have used a little more time to get to know him, she never would have had any kids with him. And then it seemed like when he got here, she was popping out kids like a baby factory. Like she just had kid after kid after kid after kid. She just literally had another one with Dallas. So hopefully Kalani's done with the kids. Because one thing that I noticed on this episode was Jessica being a boy mom. She's got a lot on her plate because raising boys isn't easy.
Nope.
And then she's got a baby on top of it, and she's got 2 boys, and then she's a counselor. I can't imagine what it's like for almost 1,400 days waiting for somebody to become part of your family, right? Because it's like
the beauty of it is that you have FaceTime and stuff now. That's so huge.
Yeah. Can you imagine when our parents were younger, and like say for instance, because I had people in my family that were in the Army, they were writing letters to each other and waiting for them to go over the ocean to hear. And sometimes, like my grandma, for instance, was waiting to get a letter just to make sure my grandfather was alive. Right? Like it wasn't even like, "Hi, I love you." It was more so, if you get a letter, that means he's not dead. Like that's what they had to deal with.
My parents were in the Army, so I get it.
It is. FaceTime has changed.
Family.
FaceTime has changed long distance relationships. I think that's why more long distance relationships prosper, because you can physically see, and text messaging also, you can instantly talk to someone. Because back in the day,
Juan was on FaceTime when she had the baby.
Oh yes, so yeah, you're right. There was an episode of Unexpected where during COVID, the boy was on FaceTime because they wouldn't let but one person in the hospital room or whatever. FaceTime has really changed things because you would have missed the birth of your child. And I know that you can have like a birth video. You can hire somebody to do like the video, but watching the video is not the same as seeing it happen.
You have to see it live.
I can't imagine what that's like, because he was like meeting his kid. I know he had seen his child a couple of times, but like he was like meeting the kid for more than a few days.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's hard to believe that you can like get off of a plane as a single man basically and then become a father and a fiance as you walk off the plane.
Do you remember when she did the whole meeting when they got to see each other face to face for the first time? She did everything live on Instagram. Dude, I was crying like a bitch. I was crying. It was the sweetest thing ever.
I mean, I think that she has put in the work, and I'm hoping that the cheating that they're discussing is not new. Because, well, Juan said something concerning, because Megan was like, "Did you cheat?" And he was like, "I'm human." That's not the answer that you really want to get, because being human means that we're flawed. And, you know, if you ask somebody if, you know, they did something awful, then they're like, "Oh, I'm human." You know?
Is that what he said? I'm human too? Or is that too editing for upcoming shows?
All right, you're right. It could be changing the words around. And, you know, we know he's been here for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to give anything away. We know he's been here for quite a while. If things weren't going to work out, you know, that's something that probably would happen. Oh, I do want to talk about Stevie and Maddie, because he's the guy from Iran. And I want to talk to you about Iran, because apparently when you leave Iran to go to the US, they ban you from their country. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
So once he gets here and gets a visa to here, he can never go back and visit his family ever. Like, that's crazy to me. Because,
Yeah,
once you get here, you have a certain amount of time you can't travel, but eventually you can go back home,
yeah.
right? And technically, you can still leave before your 90-day visa is up. It just expires and you can't come back. But the idea that he's going to give up his entire life, his family, everything that he knows to come here and hope that he loves Stevie is wild to me. Oh, good night,
Bye,
Jessica. Love
Jessica.
you. So also, her dad Perry, who has lung disease, doesn't know that she's with an Iran guy, and he has one view of that country. A lot of people have a negative view of that country, right? They've always been at war, not just with the U.S. They don't really get along with a lot of countries.
Right.
They have issues with. So I also learned a new thing today where she said that they ban social media or ways to communicate with countries they dislike, and she can't write a letter or send a package to Iran. They'll throw it away.
That's sad.
Because they don't. Right, they don't like this country, so they don't want to have any communication, which I think is really sad, because just because the leaders of that country dislike a country doesn't mean the people in the country feel the same way as the leaders. Like, how many times have you lived in this country and the leaders feel a certain way about something, and it has no way the views that you reflect? Right. So it's wild to me that the idea of him coming here. Also, were you surprised that his visa got approved?
I am, actually.
All,
to be honest,
all of the different things that, he said, they burned the U.S. flag there, and, they do very hateful things over here towards the U.S. So the idea that they got it, I think they think we are sending propaganda. What's propaganda? What does that mean?
Well,
Photo mom, I need a lesson. I want to learn something else tonight. What does that mean? What is propaganda? Is that like a anthrax?
I feel like, I don't know. Her dad, so her dad made the comment that he's not a redneck, so to speak.
I did notice that. What do you think he meant by that?
So they're obvious. I mean, you can tell that this is a real family. Like, the dad's the sweetest, Stevie's the sweetest. You could just tell that this is like a good Southern family.
Yeah.
But you can also tell that they shoot first and ask questions later.
Well, yeah. I grew up in Louisiana. I know a lot about, certain, like, for instance, if you lived in a certain part of Louisiana, the white people, they didn't care for the other people, and
right.
That's just how they were raised. This is generational things. That doesn't mean that they learn to hate a certain part of or the population. This is generational. This isn't something that they learned recently. This goes back decades, years. So, propaganda equals information, especially of bias or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize particular political cause or point of view. They think we're sending, like, political opinions and point of views over there. Wait, to, like, sway the residents? Is that what they think we're doing? Doesn't another one of the countries feel that way? Like, which one of the countries where if you go over there and you say something disrespectful towards their government, you can get arrested? What country is that?
I don't know which country that is, but I do know what you're talking about.
I remember way back in the day, there was a student who went over there and he stole, like, a magazine. Remember that? From a building, and they locked him up, and then something happened and he passed away. He never got back home.
Yeah.
Because they felt like he was doing something North Korea. Thank you, Gina. They thought he was doing something disrespectful to the country. So I wonder if that's what Iran feels about Americans sending things over there. Like, they think that it has something negative to say about returning to Iran for people who have immigrated is subject to certain regulations and requirements. Oh, so wait, can he go back?
I just looked it up, and it says if you come to the U.S. from Iran, you can generally travel back to Iran. Although obtaining a visa to re-enter from the U.S. from Iran, it can be complex and may depend on your immigration status and the current political climate between the two countries.
Oh, so say, for instance, there's tensions between these two countries, they might not let you come back. Oh, that maybe that's what she meant. Maybe she said, because she said there things between our two countries while they in this relationship have been very tense. Yeah. So maybe as long as there's extra tense or intensity between us, they'll deny his visa or his entry. His entry, because technically he's a citizen, right? He's a citizen of Iran, so they can't deny a visa. They would just deny him re-entering.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
I don't know. I just love her dad, though. Let's focus on her dad.
I feel like he says exactly what is on his mind, and he reminds me.
But I love her, too, because she loves her dad so much. I could feel like it would be like talking to my dad if my dad was still alive, because my dad was very much the same kind of person. So,
well, yeah,
I can feel her. I can feel all her emotion.
No dual citizenship in Iran. Oh, there's no dual citizenship. So wait, I have a question on that. So when he leaves, is he forfeiting citizenship? Because if there's no dual citizenship, that means when you leave, you can only have citizenship to one country. So does that mean he's forfeiting? Because I've heard of that, where if you leave a country, you could, hey, James, you could actually be forfeiting your status. It's certain countries like that. Because this is really interesting, because there's different governments and they decide, no, he's always Iranian. Oh, okay, so he's not forfeiting any citizenship. Hence travel advisories. We know before you go. Oh, so basically the travel advisory.
Not recognize dual citizenship, though.
Oh, so he'll never be American.
Yes.
Is basically what that means. No, even if he comes over here and lives for 20 years, he'll never be an American citizen. To them.
Correct.
He will always be an Iranian. I mean, that's good. I want to always be accepted by my home country. I don't ever want anyone to reject me. I mean, I think that's a good thing.
Correct.
The show makes us do a yeah, it's funny because we watch the show and I used to tweet out all the time, how is this a learning network? I ain't learning anything. I literally have been learning things so much. I think that's why this show is so interesting to me, because I know so little about the subject, but I'm so obsessed with the show, so it forces me to broaden my horizons and learn more about these situations, because I can't judge you if I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'll still judge the piss out of you, because that's what I do.
Well, right. I can judge you, but it's much easier and it makes more sense if I understand what you're doing, right? My jokes will land better if I get what you're trying to do. Not saying they won't treat him badly. Oh, well, yeah, if you know what? I'll just say this real quick. I used to live in Louisiana. I grew up there. And when I go back, people are mean to me because I left.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't get it. You know what they call me? Hollywood. Never lived.
It's like Oregon. I've been here my whole life. But if you were born and raised here and you left for a minute and you come back, people are like, you're a transplant, whatever, you're imported from California. It doesn't matter where you come from. They literally, Oregon is so unwelcoming, it's sickening.
I don't know why states are like that. And you know what's funny? Florida's the same way. If you're not from here, people literally will tell you, go back.
Yeah.
They're so unwelcome. They're like,
it cracks me up, because the other day I said, when it was negative 16 degrees and we had so much snow and I was freezing my ass off, and some guy came into my work and he said something about lovely weather. And I said, I hate it. I hate the cold. I hate the snow. And he goes, well, honey, you moved to the wrong state. No, sir. I was born and raised here and I don't love it. So fuck you.
Hey, you are not allowed to have issues with your home state. You can't even complain about it. That's great. Oh, 90-Day Makeup or Breakup says, I learned about gypsy marriage. Did y'all all watch the gypsy show that came on TLC? We all watched that, right? The girls that would get married and on the gypsy and everybody would be fighting at the receptions. Yeah, I learned about that too. Wait, did you not watch it? Oh my God, I have to text it to you. It's so good. It's like old school.
I watched part of it, not my favorite.
Wait, which one?
The gypsy.
You did watch it. Okay, yeah. It was good. It was kind of trashy. It was kind of trashy, right? Because I didn't like how they were trying to marry off the girl so young.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly like that part, because I feel like a 16, 17-year-old girl shouldn't be picking which boy to marry. She should be finishing school. And I also didn't like that they didn't let them go to school. Like,
I also got married when I was 17.
Well, I mean, see, that's a good point. I shouldn't be telling women when they shouldn't be getting married. That's a problem that men have. Men,
but if I wrote a letter to my younger self, I would say, stop your shit. Don't do that. Even though I'm still happily married to him. I had so many things. Like, I was 17, but it's fine. I have no regrets. I just would have done things in a different order.
yeah, but you would still end up with the same guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, because a lot of people are like, oh, don't do it, you're making a mistake. Sometimes, because they'll say, oh, you're getting married too young, which is probably true. They rather want you to get married at 21, 22, but to the same guy, right?
Yeah.
So they're not telling you that the person is wrong for you. They're basically saying, you know, live your younger years as a younger person and don't enter into that. Yeah, Mormons, I know, right? Their age is getting younger and younger, and it's scary. That's really scary. Hey, Ray. So Sarper and Shekinah are back, and they're pushing the storyline that Sarper never wanted to come to the U.S. and they were nervous about him getting a visa, and it's such BS. I remember when Ariella said that she wanted to live in Ethiopia because she just wanted to get on the show, and then once we found out she got there, she revealed to us that they had already applied for the K1, and I feel like that's exactly what Sarper and Shekinah did. Before they finished filming The Other Way, they were already in the process of bringing him over here. They go on The Other Way because I think The Other Way is a harder show to get casted. So they're looking for people constantly. They have no actual interest in living in another country. There's only like a handful of people who actually go through with it and did it. Everybody else, they're like, well, if I do The Other Way, then I can get on another show. And I'm sick of seeing that. It's like, I want to see people who actually have an intention of trying to live in another country. We've seen so many people pretend that they're going over there to live. They literally, and then you can know by their luggage. There's only 2 pieces of luggage, and I'm like, oh, you going to live or whatever other with 2 pieces of luggage? Get out of here. You know, like, right. And I'm like, why are you lying? You just couldn't get cast on 90 Day Fiance OG because that's a tighter casted show, but you still wanted to get in the mix. Yeah. So you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Ethiopia to live for 3 weeks. Let's film that, right? Let's film that.
But only true couple on the funny because, you know, Ari went to Ethiopia and then they came here, and then her and Benny break up, and she goes back to Ethiopia and leaves him here.
She did like Ethiopia. I'm not even gonna. It's funny because she dogged their hospital and medical system the whole season, but she did like Ethiopia because you're right. She kept going back even without him. I hope which was really
beat her ass.
Well, did you see Benny was at the Super Bowl, right? You saw that, right? He performed, and she commented underneath the photo, and she was like, "I'm so proud of us."
Did you see where she took credit for everything? She wrote the big long thing saying, behind every this and every that is where I shine. He's the talent, I'm the brains, blah, blah, blah. No, girl.
So, did you notice that it kind of seemed like she was saying they were back together, though?
Yeah, kind of.
Because that's not what I heard. I heard that he was with this really beautiful Indian woman, and they were happy. So I'm really confused by that situation. I mean, she could just be pumping up for the Last Resort. Oh, 17 episodes of The Last Resort, 3-part tell-all. Did I tell you that? I don't know if you were here. So we got 17 episodes of The Last Resort. We just saw 12, so tomorrow is 13.
Why a 3-part tell-all? I just don't understand why we have Between the Sheets and a 3-part tell-all.
I don't know, because what could you not fit into the 17 episodes? Also, the last episode is a recommitment ceremony, so technically, if they decide to break up, what do we need to know after that? Because Rob is going to pop up on another show, right? We'll know. Jasmine will pop up on another. We don't need an explanation. You're going to film it and show it to us anyway. Yeah, 3-part tell-all. Oh, but I did hear, this is between us, that there was objects thrown at each other at the tell-all.
See, and I love.
So someone.
I mean, that's great. But let's do that all in one part.
Jasmine's pregnant, so I'm hoping nobody threw nothing at Jasmine. But I did hear. I heard that an object was picked up and launched at another cast member. And somebody did tell me that the tell-all is going to be worth it. They said you're going to feel cheated from the season, but they said the tell-all is kind of a crap show. Like fighting,
screaming. The whole season's been a shit show. Let's be real.
Whoa.
The whole season's a joke.
Just one little nugget of information. Matt, Jasmine's baby daddy, is going to be at the tell-all. So if that's kind of what I wanted.
Maybe somebody will throw him.
And also, you're right, Gina. Jasmine brings up Matt and calls him tomorrow. She's going to give us the segue into him showing up at the 90 Day Makeup as I'm clutching my pearls. Yeah, they're throwing items at each other, and the baby daddy shows up to the tell-all with her husband, and objects are being thrown. So, guys, if you feel like you were being punished with the season, just maybe you might be entertained at the tell-all. Just maybe. And again, we don't condone violence, but we're not the producers of the show, so we didn't have anything to do with whoever beat the hell out of whoever beat the hell out of us. Right? We didn't do that. We're just telling you to watch it. We can't change what they do, right?
Yeah. I mean, 3 parts though. Come on.
I feel like this is the new normal. We're watching. Remember, the 2-part tell-all was enough. We got all of the information that we needed in those 2 weeks. And I think the very first season of 90 Day Fiance didn't even have a tell-all. Right. Didn't have one at all. And then it didn't start until the second season, and we would get 1 hour, 1.5 or 2 hour tell-all. Now we're going 3, 4. I think the Single Life last season had a 7-part. Yeah. This is not okay, right? Oh yeah, it is Sean. Yeah, there's no replacement for Sean. That has not happened yet. Cara, we have to live through 17. Yeah, 17 episodes. Hey, Kim. Oh, guys, Kim and Jamal are back tonight on Pillow Talk. They've been gone for a while. I want to make sure we're about to end this live. Go straight to TLC. I think Pillow Talk is on right now. Yep. It's a really funny episode. I heard that they'll be dressed as other people.
Oh, nice.
That's just what I heard.
Go watch me.
That's what I heard. I can't say no more. That's just what I heard. So everybody, we'll be back tomorrow. As you guys mentioned before, Between the Sheets is like the tell-all. It is, right? Yeah. So technically we're getting like a 9-part tell-all, because you're right. Between the Sheets is a tell-all because they're answering questions that we were already asking. Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about The Last Resort. Probably not Between the Sheets. I watched last week. I got 0 information out of it. So there was nothing that you needed to see. I watched it for y'all. There was nothing there. But we'll talk about love you, Kim. We'll talk about The Last Resort tomorrow. Make sure you're following Cara. I'm going to tag her in this video. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, GeorgeMossey.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, type in The George Mossey Show. There will be another podcast tonight on Twitter with me and Shabuti if you want to tune in for that. And then it'll be on Spotify tomorrow. This is called 90 Day Fiance Fridays. Everybody have a wonderful night. I think tomorrow's a holiday, so enjoy your day off, right?
Me? Enjoy. No, it's not my day.
Well, no, you're your own boss. You can't take the day off. All right, guys, everybody have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.